You think silence is submission. You think not responding makes you look like a coward. You think if you don't speak up immediately, they will think you are wrong. You believe that explaining every detail clearly will prove your innocence. You believe that sharp logic will make your attacker bow down. But let me tell you something. You are completely wrong. Here is the brutal truth. The truth that your ego does not want to accept. Every time you react with anger, every time you rush to justify, every time you try to explain to someone who doesn't want to understand, you are sending a signal, a crystal clear signal. I am vulnerable. My emotions depend on your words. You have the right to control me. You hold the key to my peace of mind, and when the opponent sees that, when they smell that insecurity, they will never respect you. They know they have won. They know they have dragged you down into the mud with them. Not because your logic is wrong, but because your behavior is too predictable. You have become a puppet dancing on the strings that they are pulling. But here is the thing that 99% of people don't realize. Because we were taught from a young age to be obedient, to answer when asked. But regaining power in a conflict does not require you to be louder. It does not require you to have a better vocabulary. It requires something much harder: control. I have spent years diving deep into behavioral psychology, into how the human brain reacts under social pressure, into how great leaders handle disrespect. And the answer always lies in the silences. In this deep dive video, we are not talking about cheap hacks. We are going deep into human nature. You will discover 3 core things. First, why your primitive brain is always screaming to fight back. Second, neuropsychological strategies to extinguish the enemy's fire. And finally, a special set of techniques to completely neutralize narcissists and toxic people. By the end of this video, we'll completely change your mindset. You will no longer see silence as painful endurance. You will see it as the ultimate weapon of power. Let's start by dissecting our own brains. Why is silence so difficult? Why is it that when someone insults you, your heart beats fast, your hands shake, and your throat tightens if you don't speak out? Let's go back thousands of years, to the hunter-gatherer era. Back then, status in the tribe was survival. If you were misunderstood, if you were falsely accused, if your reputation was lowered, it meant you could be exiled. And exile back then meant death. Therefore, our brains evolved a defense mechanism. The limbic system, also known as the emotional brain. When you hear a criticism, the amygdala activates immediately. It cannot distinguish between a bad comment on social media and a predator rushing at you. It screams danger, and it pumps cortisol and adrenaline into your blood. That is why you want to scream back. That is why you want to explain. That is the fight or flight response. But we no longer live in caves. The person speaking ill of you cannot eat you. This biological response is now working against you. Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a great Stoic, saw through this thousands of years ago. He said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When you react to craziness with craziness, you have become a copy of them. In modern psychology, there is a critically important concept. It is called reactive abuse. This is the trap that manipulators frequently use. They poke you. They whisper toxic words. They back you into a corner until you can't take it anymore. And you explode. You scream. You cry. You say thoughtless things. And in that very moment, they will smile. They will point at you and say, "See, you are the crazy one. You are the one out of control." They use your own reaction against you. That is the expensive price of not keeping your silence. Now let's talk deeper about the most common mistake: explaining. We usually think, if I state the reason clearly, if I provide evidence, they will understand, they will sympathize. But here is the paradox of power. In a heated argument, logic does not exist. When someone is attacking you, they are not using their prefrontal cortex, the place that processes reason and logic. They are using their reptilian brain. They are in attack mode. When you try to explain, you are throwing logic into an emotional fire. It does not put out the fire. It only provides more oxygen for it. There is another psychological term that you need to memorize. It is JADE. J is justify, A is argue, D is defend, E is explain. Never do these four things with someone who is disrespecting you. Why? Because when you justify, you are admitting that you need their approval. You are placing them in the position of the judge, and you turn yourself into the defendant. An innocent person does not need to prove their innocence to someone without authority. A confident person does not need to explain their choices to people who don't respect them. Remember this quote: "A lion never explains to a hyena why it is walking in that direction. Over-explaining is a sign of hidden guilt." The more you speak, the more vulnerabilities you reveal. The more you speak, the less weight your words carry. So, what must you do? Stand still and take the beating? No, absolutely not. Silence does not mean being passive. Silence is a strategic action. Here are 3 psychological techniques for you to apply today. Strategy number 1 is the power pause. This is the strongest weapon. When someone has just thrown an insult or a malicious question, the normal reflex is to answer immediately. Don't do that. Do the following. Lock your mouth shut. Take a deep breath through your nose. Keep eye contact right at the bridge of their nose. Don't look down at the ground. Don't look away. Look straight at them. And count silently in your head. 1, 2, 3. Those 3 seconds feel like a century to them. Why? Because they are waiting for the ball to bounce back. They are waiting for your defense. But you have broken that script? The sudden silence creates a psychological vacuum, and human instinct is terrified of the vacuum. They will start to panic. They will ask themselves, "Did I say something wrong? Why isn't he reacting? What is he planning?" Just by 3 seconds of silence, you have flipped the position from the passive victim to the one controlling the game. Strategy number 2, the broken record technique. Sometimes they won't stop. They will keep pushing. Why aren't you talking? Are you looking down on me? Who do you think you are? At this point, use this technique. Repeat a single phrase with a deep tone, steady, and emotionless. For example, they say, "Why did you do the report so badly?" You answer, "I note your opinion." They scream, "Are you not listening to me?" You answer, "I note your opinion." They get angry, "What is with that attitude?" You answer, "I have noted your opinion." Don't change the words. Don't change the tone. Become a broken machine. No one can argue with a machine. They will quickly get exhausted because they are not receiving emotional fuel from you. They want fire, but you give them ice. Strategy number 3 is Socratic questioning. This is how Stoics fight. Instead of giving an answer, return a question to them. A question that forces them to think. When they are sarcastic with you, look at them calmly and ask, "What is your true purpose when saying that sentence?" Or you can ask, "Are you trying to hurt me?" Or simpler, "Can you repeat that sentence? I didn't hear it clearly." Forcing them to repeat an insult strips away the power of that sentence. It forces them to hear their own absurdity. Usually, they will back down. They will say, "Oh, nothing, just joking." That is when you win, without raising your voice once. Let's be realistic for a moment. The strategies above are very effective with normal people. But with truly toxic people, professional manipulators, narcissists, what then? They don't care about logic. They have no shame. They live off your chaos. With these people, you need the ultimate technique. It is the gray rock method. Imagine a gray rock lying by the side of the road. Is it interesting? No. Does it have emotions? No. Do you want to talk to it? Definitely not. Become that rock. Become as boring as possible. Don't share your joy with them. They will drown it. Don't share your sadness with them. They will use it as a weapon. When communicating, use the shortest answers possible. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Don't look into their eyes for too long. Don't show anger, and don't show happiness either. Turn yourself into a blank sheet of paper, a screen with static noise. Toxic people are like vampires. Their food is your emotion. Whether it is positive or negative emotion, they like it all. The only thing they fear is indifference. When you apply the gray rock, they will frantically try to provoke you. This is called an extinction burst. They will try even harder to get a reaction. But if you persist, they will starve, and they will leave to find other prey. That is how you purify your life, by absolute silence. Finally, remember this. This silence is not to punish others, although it is the most painful punishment. The true purpose of silence is to protect yourself. Philosopher Seneca once said, "Anger is like an acid. It damages the vessel in which it is stored more than the object on which it is poured. When you hold onto a grudge, when you argue back and forth, you are drinking poison yourself and expecting the other person to die." Silence is how you build an inner citadel, a place where not a single word can invade. That is true freedom, freedom from judgment, freedom from the need to be understood, freedom from petty emotions. In a noisy world, where everyone screams for attention, the person who keeps a cool head, the person who can smile in the storm, that person is the most dangerous one. Don't try to win an argument, win at life. Next time someone provokes you, remember this video, take a deep breath, and give them silence, the gift they deserve. Will you choose to scream like a weak person, or be silent like a master? Comment the word silence below if you commit to forging this mindset. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey together. Because the brutal truth is, only the strong dare to be silent.